I was really lucky early in my career to start working in digital when it was really the new thing. 10 golden rules are basically strategies for internet marketing. And I'm proud to say here we are 20 years later, and they've really stood the test of time.
How did you end up in this particular niche and why?
The first thing I would encourage everybody to consider niching down again.
You and I both know marketing is marketing, but when you get to that niche, that's a different level of granularity.
Yeah, when you go all in, and once you're in, you're in. There's no half.
Tell us about that. What are the 6 parts?
Yeah, can you guess? What are some of the parts of Google that you can get search results?
Our guest today is Jay Berkowitz, a best-selling author, an international keynote speaker, and an award-winning thought leader. A senior online marketing professional, with over 25 years of marketing experience, Jay has managed marketing departments for Fortune 500 brands, including Coca-Cola, Sprint, and McDonald's. He has also developed online and offline strategies for AT&T, as well as leading health and fitness website ediets.com. Jay's the author of Advanced Internet Marketing for Law Firms, the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing, and 10 free internet marketing strategies that went to #1 on Amazon for small business and entrepreneurship. He is the founder and CEO of 10goldenrules.com, an internet marketing agency for law firms based in Boca Raton, Florida. He is also the host of the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing podcast. He's been profiled in the Wall Street Journal, business journals, and was interviewed on Fox Business TV. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Steve. I'm tired just listening to all that.
It's quite it's quite the bio, my friend, and believe me, there was more. You've had an amazing career. So I want to start with the 10 golden rules of online marketing. When Google was in beta, and as you call and say Zuckerberg was in high school, right? That's when you wrote this. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was really lucky early in my career to start working in digital when it was really, the new thing. I was working at Coca-Cola, and Pepsi had a really cool website with interactive fun games for the kids. And we were only allowed to play the Coke jingle on the website. And I could see that we were losing ground very, very quickly to Pepsi, who was becoming cool in the newest online technology. And so I jumped into internet and started learning all about internet marketing. And I did that for about 5 years, and working at Sprint and getting people their first emails and getting companies their first websites, and then moving to a complete online environment, a company called ediets.com. It's an online diet website. We were bringing 100,000 people a day to this website and doing all kinds of A/B testing and finding out what really worked in online advertising and marketing. Back in 2002, like I joked, Google was in beta, like the Google Ads product was in beta, and very few companies had any sophistication in digital back then.
What are there? You want to, go over the 10 golden rules? You want to just highlight a couple of them? The floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the 10 golden rules are basically strategies for internet marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud to say here we are 20 years later, and they've really stood the test of time. But, golden rule number 1 is there are no rules. And that was a little fun, thing to say on the stage when I do the presentation. And essentially what it was based on, I came from a traditional background. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Sprint, very traditional advertising and marketing. And when you do that type of advertising and marketing still today, it's based on theories or rules or best practices, because you don't have precise measurement. And I can't tell you the number of long, into the night meetings with Coca-Cola bottlers and McDonald's franchisees, where they would say, okay, we're doing TV and radio and billboards. Could we save money and do only 2 of the 3? Like, which one's working? Which one's getting people to show up at the McDonald's restaurants? And Coca-Cola, the same thing. Like, which advertising is working the best? And so we had these rules or theories. Like, we had to run 350 GRPs of TV advertising in order to build awareness of a new launch. And a GRP is the number of people you reach times the frequency you reach them in a week or a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used these rules. Like, if we had 350 GRPs, that would be effective for advertising and marketing. So these rules were kind of general theories. Like, we didn't really know what worked. And I do have a theory, by the way, on what worked. Do you want me to share it, Steve?
Absolutely.
So one of my theories, after doing multiple launches for Coca-Cola and McDonald's with big budgets and, national scope and everything, I believe that there's a multiplicity effect that's pretty powerful in that kind of advertising. So, like, let's say we launch a new Happy Meal and it's a Disney Happy Meal at McDonald's, and we have to get awareness out. And we'd always launch our advertising Thursday night at 6 p.m. so that we could have a big weekend. And, sure enough, like our sales would be up 10 or 20% that weekend. And the Saturday, the stores would be packed. You couldn't get into the parking lot. And so what worked? How did the families get awareness of this Happy Meal? Was it the kids? Was it the moms? Was it, what was driving this awareness? But one of the things that I personally came to believe is that, like, if you heard a radio commercial, like it could, it would blur over your, we don't really listen that effective. Or if a TV ad came on TV, maybe the kids would notice this new Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm.
The first time it wouldn't have that much effect. But if you were driving the next morning and you saw the billboard and, your kids had sort of heard the TV and you're driving the kids to school, like, hey, Mom, Happy Meals, we got to go to McDonald's. It's Disney, the Disney characters we love, right? So it's that multiplicity that really 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It equaled like 5. So, if the power of those multiple media. Anyways, all that being said, that's just Jay's theory, right? And we knew the one thing I could tell you is advertising worked. Like when we launched that advertising Thursday at 6 o'clock, the stores would be packed, Friday and Saturday. And for weeks until the kids had their all 4 of the Happy Meal characters, right? The one thing we didn't know is like what worked better. Like the TV work better, the radio, billboards, and whatnot. But the golden rule number 1 for internet marketing: when you do digital marketing, to the penny if it's working. You know how much you spent on your Google ads, how many people clicked, what keywords they clicked on, what ads they clicked on, what landing page they came to, what path they took through your website. So you got very, very precise information, and it was really, really awesome. And so, golden rule number 1 is there are no rules, because we're not operating just on theories, so to speak. We're operating based on data. And so that's really where we talk about the data and the knowledge that we can derive from our internet marketing.
So rule number 1 is there are no rules.
Yeah. And I'll skip to rule number 10. You can find the 10 golden rules on our website. We have an ebook there. And you can also buy this book that's over my left-hand shoulder, the 10 golden rules, but it's out of print, so you can only buy it on Amazon or eBay. But you really can just get by with watching. There's on our 10 golden rules YouTube channel. I also did a webinar on the 10 golden rules. So if you like this format, just watch the webinar. But I'll skip to rule number 10. Rule number 10 is you have to lead the trends. And I love talking about this because it's still relevant every single day. So when I wrote that rule, it was about if you discover something new that pops up, and literally one of the things I talk about is the pop-up. And if you remember 20 years ago, you used to be having a nice normal internet session and another website would pop up over your website.
Yep.
And when it first happened, it was fascinating. Like I remember I used to use Expedia for travel. And one time Travelocity popped up over my travel, I was searching for flights or whatever. And this other website popped up and it had like an interactive game where you could like whack-a-mole or something. And so I played this game and then it said, hey, I would like to search for best prices on your flight. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'd love to check another price on the flight and like get a comparison. So when pop-ups first happened, they had like 30% effectiveness. They worked really, really well. And I was working at eDiets and other diet sites would pop up on top of our site. But what happened after 5 or 6 months is we got really sick of these pop-ups because it went from 1 or 2 very relevant pop-ups to 10 pop-ups, just like constantly as you were trying to do something, they were irritating you and popping up. And so very quickly we complained to our internet service providers and our virus scanners. And we were able to figure out how to block these pop-ups for the most part. I mean, 20 years later, they still sneak through. But what's the lesson here from a marketing perspective? The lesson is that when pop-ups first came out, they got 30% click-through rates and very, very cost-effective advertising and marketing. In the new, after 6 months, we were irritated with pop-ups. We hated anybody who popped up over what we were trying to do. And essentially, we made pop-ups go away. Mm-hmm. So what's the marketing lesson? You had 2 or 3, 4 months to figure out how to serve a pop-up, how to develop creative that worked effectively, do the cost evaluations, the cost per click, the cost per conversion, and take advantage of that in the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months because it essentially went away or all the competitors figured it out within 6 months. And we've seen that over and over and over and over in the last 20 years. So 10 Golden Rules as a company, we're very oriented to figuring out like what's real, like not just jumping on everything the first time you hear about it. I personally have kind of like a rule of threes. When I hear about something 2 or 3 times, from valuable resources. I got to figure out how we can do that for ourselves.
Mm.
Maybe a lot of times we test things on 10 golden rules, like our first blog, our first podcast, a lot of the things we did first. We tested it on ourselves, and then we roll it to our clients. But one of the current things that's been very, very effective is the Google local service ad. You know, the little ads with a check mark right at the top of Google.
Oh, yeah.
So for lawyers and real estate agents and financial planners, it's called Google Screened. So Google's essentially screening you. And before that product was launched for plumbers, air conditioning, it was called Google Verified. Well, when this comes into your market, you've got a couple months to get screened or verified, get approved, and take advantage of being one of the two people right at the top of the page. Because we got one of our lawyers approved or screened in the first 5 in New York City, was screened and approved at the very top of Google. And within like 6 months, there was probably 50 lawyers who figured it out and got screened and got verified. And within a year, there's probably 5,000 lawyers that were competing for just 2 positions right at the top of Google. So, and then the next opportunity was over the next 6 to 12 months, figuring out, okay, now how do you get in the top 2? Like what's Google's algorithm that's going to get you in the top 2?
Right.
So Lead to Trends is all about figuring out what's a trend that's going to matter, figuring out how to take advantage of it before your competitor does, and then figuring out how to continually, reinvent whatever the algorithm is going to get you that success. So Lead to Trends is very important as an individual, as a company. You have to have a mindset to be figuring out what's coming next, because you can't miss something like local service ads or pop-ups. You'll be 6 months behind your competitors. And when you go to use it, it's already too late. There's 5,000 lawyers looking for 2 spots.
I think everything you just said, what struck out at the top or near the top of the list is that before you put anything in front of your customers or clients, you try it yourself.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. And, sometimes it's not appropriate. Like now we do marketing only for law firms, digital marketing only for law firms. So obviously there's going to be some things that a digital marketing agency doesn't need that a law firm needs. But, the same philosophy exists. So we'll figure out, go have a team meeting. Hey, this thing seems to be working really well. We want to try it out. Or we meet a new vendor and they'll tell us that their product works better than all the other vendors in the marketplace and why it worked. There's one we're working with right now. And we'll figure out 1 or 2 clients who it's particularly appropriate for. And they have an appetite for this kind of testing. And we know they're small enough, flexible enough. We control their website, et cetera. We can put this test in place quickly. We'll put a couple of clients on it and then roll it to 5, 6 clients if it's working, and roll it to everybody if we have a winner.
It's smart, right? Because then you can, if your client says, have you tried this on yourself? You can say, yeah, and this is what happened.
I'll give you another example. We've got on our website a product called Intaker. And Intaker is basically built their business around law firms. But, also you can find it on some digital agencies. And it's a artificial intelligence powered chatbot. And so it also has a video component. So when you go to 10goldenrules.com, you see a picture of me pops up after 8 or 9 seconds, and you see a video. And then if you click it, you hear a video, and I'm saying, hey, how can I help you today? Please follow the questions below to see if we can be of service. And it says, what industry are you in? What are you looking for? You're looking for SEO, websites, digital marketing. And it walks you through a chat. And the AI is much quicker and much more efficient than a human waiting to respond to your chats. And Intakers continue to be very innovative. And we tested that on our website and very quickly rolled it out to a couple of clients. We just figured out how to use it technically, and it's worked very, very well. And now it's one of 2 chat services that we highly recommend.
I'm curious, how often do you think about adding an addendum to the 10 golden rules? Meaning, are there other rules that you want to add?
That's a great question. And people ask me all the time. And, the number one joke, but, when I run into a jokester at a conference or something, it's like, I just registered 11 golden rules. or someone told me, it's like, what is the 11th golden rule? I said, I don't know. And they said, the man with the most gold makes the rules. So that's a pretty good one. But all seriousness, looking back on the 20 years, I might have had, search as a component of one of the 10 golden rules. I mean, it definitely is inherent that, you figure everything out, try everything out. Golden rule number 4 is, subscriptions matter, and subscriptions are very important in both email subscriptions, social media, people following you on social media, all the different flavors of people following you and you being able to follow people with remarketing. But, certainly search might have been one of the 10 golden rules explicitly, not, sort of by osmosis, because you're going to test search and figure it out. I mean, to a certain extent, like one of the golden rules is if you build it, they won't just come.
Yeah.
I mean, and SEO is certainly the answer to that golden rule.
Oh, without question. So your company, 10goldenrules.com, so you deal only with law firms, right?
That's correct.
So that's very niche based, right?
Yep.
How and why? I think my question is, or why specifically? Why only, given your background, right? Because you have a wide background. How did you end up in this particular niche and why?
Well, the first thing I would is encourage everybody to consider niching down again.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens, particularly for a company, is, and your question's right, Steve. Like, I know how to do marketing for restaurants and McDonald's restaurants and Coca-Cola and packaged goods and tourism and, e-commerce. But what's been great about picking one niche and focusing on that niche is my staff doesn't necessarily have 30 years of marketing experience working with Fortune 500 brands. And so what it's allowed us to do as a company is get very, very good at one thing and very, very focused. So it makes it easier for you as an individual and easier for a company if you get very, very good at something. And the other thing that's been hugely beneficial is I'm now, I'm known and our company's known for being very, very good at something. So the niche has been fantastic for us. The story of how that evolved when we started 20 years ago, 10 Golden Rules was a digital marketing agency. And we were very niche-y back then because nobody was only like a digital marketing agency.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a book about it. We were very uniquely placed in the market. And I would get referred all the time, like, talk to Jay Berkowitz. He's the guy who wrote the book on internet marketing. And as the years went on, 15 years later, if we go back 5 years, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary. So after 15 years, we had 1 million competitors. Walk into any Starbucks and you'd see two kids huddled around a Mac and they were a social media agency or a digital marketing agency. And so we literally had millions of competitors. And what became very valuable was to pick one niche and be very, very good at it because it also the expansion of the internet. Like in the early days, people would come to us and say, hey, can you do an e-commerce site? We could figure it out as good as anybody else because there weren't worldwide experts. But now there's millions of experts on e-commerce stores, Amazon stores, affiliate marketing, all these niche kind of things. And so the benefit for us was picking one niche that we already were really good at. I mean, we've worked with lawyers for 17 or 18 years. It was our biggest niche when we decided to go only all in on lawyers. But, naturally, we've gotten even better by being super focused.
Right. So I would imagine when you decided to go this niche-y, to coin a phrase, there were quite a few challenges when you started.
Yeah. I mean, like for us, it wasn't like we just decided, hey, we're going to go after lawyers.
Right.
Like I said, we'd worked with lawyers for 17 or 18 years. I'd been a speaker at a couple of the lawyer conferences. We tried to develop specific marketing strategies to target lawyers in the past. So it wasn't like we didn't have, A, the experience, B, the credibility, and C, understood the ecosystem. But, since we've gone all in, certainly we've learned a ton and grown as an agency and learned how to sell, in that niche.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. We're going to get back to our show in one quick second, but stay with me. If you're in the need for anything SEO and or link building related, you need to do yourself one quick favor. You need to go to the website that's on the screen right now, stanventures.com. Go there, tell them Steve-O sent you. The rest will take care of itself. Trust me. You can thank me later. So give somebody your words of wisdom. They're thinking about starting a company and they have their niche in mind, right? What are some things kind of looking back, the classic, you wish you knew then what you know now kind of thing?
It's a good question. And I'm a big fan of and a member of a group called 7-Figure Agency. And 7-Figure Agency is a great mastermind group formed by Josh Nelson. And Josh had an agency. He went out of business. He started an agency again. And he picked one niche and he focused on plumbers. And now he has 400 plumber clients across the country. And so he built this $5, $6, $7 million agency, and then 7-figure agency. He teaches other folks how to become a 7-figure agency. And one of the things that I learned when we picked the lawyer niche, and I wouldn't have understood that 4 years ago. And I share this with all the young agencies now when I go to the 7-figure agency meetings and intensives and conferences. Be very careful when you pick your niche and make sure you love that niche. Because now I spend all my time, all day, every day, talking to lawyers, going to lawyer conferences, spend 3, 4, 5 days at these conferences in Vegas, Miami, whatever. And so, be very conscious of picking a niche where you like the niche, you like the people, you like the sort of environment. And one of the ironic things about 7-figure agencies is there's 3 of us who do pretty well targeting attorneys. And all of us generally show up at the 7-figure agency conference wearing a sports jacket or wearing a shirt with a collar. And then there's guys who do really, really well with roofers or plumbers or HVAC or whatever. And those guys are wearing shorts and a t-shirt and a ball cap at the conference. So it doesn't mean that you can't be successful, faking it, but you're probably going to be uncomfortable most of the time if you're not happy working with the folks you're working with. So what I would suggest is spend some time, literally buy a ticket, go to one of the top conferences in the niche you're considering, spend some time with these folks because, it's going to become a huge part of your life. You're going to end up reading lawyer blogs and watching lawyer videos and listening to lawyer marketing podcasts. We have the 10 Golden Rules Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. I listen to all the other great podcasts all the time. So, you're going to immerse yourself in a niche. So you better make sure it's something that makes your heart beat faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's great advice, right? Because like you said, you're going to be, once you go in, you have to be all in. And it's got to be something that you're interested in, you have a passion for. Yes, you and I both know marketing is marketing. But when you get to that niche, that's a different level of granularity.
Yeah, when you go all in. And once you're in, you're in. There's no halfway.
Yep. Exactly. And I would imagine either you get asked or you're tempted to go, oh, yeah, I can also, help you with that retail company, right? Or something like that. Whereas you have to hold on, get back in that lane, stay in the lane.
Yeah. I mean, what happened for us is after about a year, we changed our website, we changed our logo. So 10 Golden Rules Digital Marketing Agency became 10 Golden Rules Internet Marketing for Law Firms. Once you commit, it becomes pretty clear. And, even if someone says, oh, hey, Jay Berkowitz wrote the book on internet marketing, and they go to our website and they see all we do is law firms, then I don't get that phone call, even if it was a referral.
Yeah. Hey, I want to pivot to, I know you did a webinar recently, I think about the 6 parts of Google, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about that. What are the 6 parts?
Yeah. Can you guess? What are some of the parts of Google that you can get search results?
Wow. That you can get, because I was going to say search would be one part of Google, right?
So there's the SEO, and
yep.
When Google just started, that's all there was, right? There was just the natural, organic, whatever,
right?
Search results, and so SEO is the obvious part, and then Google added the ads on the right hand side that are called pay per click, and that's the second part. And now the pay per click, they moved to the top. We talked about the local service ads earlier, so depending on which category you're in, if you're in plumbing, air conditioning, garage door, locksmiths. There's local service ads of lawyers, real estate agents. It just came out. Chiropractors, dentists. So Google just started verifying or screening chiropractors and dentists. So if you're a chiropractor or dentist, jump on this, go watch my webinar on the local service ads on my YouTube channel, and you'll learn how to get screened or verified and get to the top of Google. And if you're an agency, there's a tremendous opportunity to get all your clients screened or verified in this new niche, like I talked about. So SEO, pay-per-click, local service ads, of course, Google Maps. And Google Maps is often given less attention than it deserves, because Google Maps search results, if you're searching for a lawyer or a shoe repair or a pizza place, Google shows results on the map, the little pinpoints on the map. And they show 3 results, what they call the 3-pack. But that's the first free SEO result. So if you're going to see local service ads, you're going to see pay-per-click ads, then you're going to see maps, then you're going to see SEO in a typical search result. So, and regardless of the category you're in, you're going to see a paid ad, then you're going to see maps if it's a local search, right?
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of SEO, search engine optimization, that you can do for local maps to be more friendly and optimize your Google business profile to Google's algorithms to try and come up in those first three results on the map SEO. So SEO, pay-per-click, local service ads, Google Maps, and then a brand new search result is Google's AI, or they're calling it AI overviews. And these are basically a chat GPT style result that Google is serving up in their search results. So, I pulled the screenshot just so I had it handy. But, no one's going to be able to see it, but it's basically this, Google's giving you like a chat GPT result right at the top of a search or embedded in a search. And then we've, as an industry, we always try and figure out Google's algorithm, right? So there's some key things that you can do to rank in the AI overviews. Basically, the one thing is different about the Google result than a chat GPT result is Google showing you their homework. They're showing you the top 3 or 4 websites that they researched in order to post that result. So you have a search engine optimization opportunity to be shown as one of those 4 sites because the consumer can click on those sites and go to your site. So one of the things we've been talking about for 3 or 4 years, and Google's been telling us in their patents and their public releases about how they're evolving the algorithm, is the Google algorithm is designed to help people. Google search results essentially are designed to answer people's questions. So if your website's really good at answering questions, there's a good chance you're going to come up in Google search results. And this new AI algorithm is built on all this research they've been doing in building out the algorithm for the past several years, and the evolution of Google. Google basically understands their job is to help people answer questions. So if your website contributes to that knowledge, there's a good chance that you'll be shown in those results. So we've been answering a lot of questions on our website and our clients' website. Like, for example, I always use this version where the lawyer will answer a question: what do I do if I get hit by an Uber? Who's going to pay for my car repairs and my injuries? And that's a new type of question because 5 or 6 years ago there wasn't that many Ubers on the road. Now there's a million Ubers on the road, and of course they're getting in accidents. And a lot of times it's unclear: is it the driver? Is it Uber? Like, whose insurance can you sue if you're in an accident? So asking and answering a question is a very good way to position yourself for this new AI search result. And we do that by using video, by using blogs, by using website content, and even putting this content on Google Maps so that you're being helpful. You're answering the questions that people are asking in your category. And then the sixth area, almost nobody can guess this. I'll give you one more guess, Steve. What's the sixth area that Google delivers search results?
Wow. So we talked about general search, video, local.
You actually got it. It's video.
Right? Oh.
So Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. And it's way ahead of number 3. And Google and YouTube combined, of course, is 90% of all search results.
Yep.
And a lot of times we're going to go to YouTube directly. Like if I want to say, like, how do I unclog a sink? I know some plumber somewhere made a video, and they're going to show me how to do it on video. So sometimes our mind makes that leap now where we just don't do the Google search. We actually do the YouTube search when we know we want to see a video on how to do something. How do I play guitar? A million things, right? How do I take on the insurance company for a car accident lawsuit, right? Some people are going to try and do it themselves. So asking and answering the question on video, we then take that video, we put it on the website, we create an SEO optimized blog post, and then we use those videos in social media. We use them on Google Maps. So recording those videos is designed for the new searches where you're being helpful, you're answering questions. It's going to get you listed in the AI search. It's going to work very well for YouTube search. It's going to work for website search. We're going to use those videos on multiple places.
So there's the 6 parts of Google. I love it. The 6 parts of Google. Okay, I got to pivot to the topic that everybody in the whole world's talking about, and that's AI. It's the elephant, right? Everybody's room. I want to get your theories on AI and SEO, and what are your thoughts when it comes to that?
Well, look, I've been following AI for a long time. As a matter of fact, in 2018, I wrote a presentation called Digital Future 2020, and I got booked for all these major conferences. And everyone's like, oh, 2020. Here's a trick, by the way. There's nothing different about 2020 or 2019 or 2021. it just sounds good on stage. So in 2018, I started a presentation where I was talking about Bitcoin, blockchain, artificial intelligence, all these new digital kind of things. And in my AI presentation, I was talking about the first time, my eyes really got open to the power of computing. And it was really a game changer. It was in 1997 when IBM's Deep Blue computer beat the world chess champion, Gary Kasparov.
Yep.
And I think for a lot of us, that was like one of those wow moments where we always thought computers would be like, okay, they're good at checkers because it's very simple, but chess is supposed to be art and, 3-level and very strategic. And IBM beat the world chess champion 2 out of 3 games, right? The computer. And then in, I think it was 2011, IBM won Jeopardy and beat like the Jeopardy champion. It was like, oh, that was IBM's Watson. And it was like, oh my God, these computers are great. And then last year, ChatGPT passed the bar exam to become an attorney in the 90th percentile. One of the top 10% of all, beat everyone but 90% of attorneys. So we know the AI is extremely capable. And then the question is, how do you use it? Like, where is it relevant? And I think, the first thing I always say is like, it's kind of like golden rule number 10, lead the trends. You got to jump in and start figuring stuff out and figuring out how to make it work for your business. Because if you don't, in 6 months, you're going to be behind your competitors.
Yep. So
like we better figure out, what's some simple uses for ChatGPT. So here's a simple thing we do. I don't recommend writing copy using, ChatGPT, but it's really, really great for suggesting topic headings for blog posts. So you can say, research this website and give me 10 new topics for blog posts that people would be searching about, car accidents and car accident lawyers. And, it'll give you like 7 that are already out there, but 3 really good ones. And then say, okay, give me 10 more topics and you get 3 other good ones. Okay, now, research this website and give me topics that they've written blogs about that we haven't written blogs about. And then you get your 10 new topics and then say, okay, now put it in a spreadsheet and give me keywords to target for each of these blog titles. And then after you write the blogs and use humans to actually, curate them, because I don't recommend ChatGPT would write all those 10 blogs would come out sounding very similar. Like that's one thing ChatGPT is not really good at. There are some other tools that are better, but it's still not there yet. So we still write our content with humans, but then we can feed that content back into that spreadsheet and say, now write a YouTube description, write a page title and SEO page titles. Again, the humans have to oversee it, have to fix it, tweak it, but it becomes a very important time-saving tool for us in the agency and frankly in any business. And then I think the next, the next evolution I would talk about, and I already did talk about, which is really helping people, answering questions. And that's really, how you sort of create your product to be ready for AI search from an SEO perspective. And I think, that's what we've figured out so far about these Google search results. And frankly, it's not just Google anymore, because obviously ChatGPT is taking 2 or 3 or 4% of Google searches.
Yeah.
And Meta just launched Llama last week. And basically the Meta search engine shows up on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Instagram. So, Meta's basically a version of ChatGPT, but they're also trying to get into giving you Google style search results. And then ChatGPT has launched a product that's giving you Google style search results. So basically everyone's merging into this one competitive set. And I think the best resource we have, to counter that is to answer questions, help people, and basically orient your copy to being a part of answering the questions. And that's your best chance to show up in these search results.
It's still very much the Wild West, as we know, when it comes to AI. But your advice is so spot on in terms of, I talk to CMOs all the time on my podcast, and a lot of marketers are still in that kind of baby pool side of it. And some of them not even dipping their toe at all in the pool yet, which to me makes no sense because I think there's still that fear and of the unknown. But yeah, I was just saying, I think, amongst CMOs and marketers, there's a delay. There's a fear of AI.
And just for fun, I can give you a couple, sizzle-worthy products that we're playing around with.
Sure.
One of them is really incredible. It's called HeyGen. And HeyGen allows us to take a video. So, Jay could do a video talking about the 6 parts of Google and, do a 1 or 2 minute video that I want to use on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, Reels and whatnot. And what if I want to publish that in Spanish as well? So HeyGen will take my video. It'll be me talking on camera. It'll be my voice. It'll sound like I'm saying the words in Spanish, but it'll say it in Spanish and my lips will be moving with the Spanish words. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So we've been testing that again. Like I say, you got to jump in, you got to test. So we've been creating some Spanish YouTube channels and taking, maybe the top 10 videos where our attorneys have answered questions, and we're creating a Spanish channel and playing around with that and seeing if we can get a little bit of SEO results and some traction to the websites and whatnot. Another cool tool, this one's called PIM Eyes, PIMEYES, like your human eyes. And one of the attorneys tells a story, Justin Lovely, on one of my webinars. We have an AI webinar on our YouTube channel, and he talks about how to use these tools in a law firm. So they had a case where a woman hit his client. There were serious injuries, and they were trying to figure out, what was going on before the accident. But the attorneys pulled down all her social media, so they couldn't find anything about this woman and her background. And they had two pictures. They had her license, her driver's license, and her mugshot from the accident. And they fed those into PIMEYES, and they obviously couldn't find her social media because the attorney had pulled it all down. But they found a bunch of her friends with pictures of her at the bar earlier that day drinking.
Wow.
They deposed the bartenders and found out that she had had many, many drinks before she hit their client. And the case went from $50,000 to max limits. They got $1 million, which was the entire policy, just by calling up the other law firm. They didn't even have to go to court.
Wow.
So there's some incredible AI tools every day. We're discovering new ones. But those are just a couple that we're talking about on our podcast.
I love those are great stories. I love that. Listen, I want to be respectful of time. We're coming up against the top of the hour here for the show. Jay, what an incredible conversation. I knew it was going to be. You did not disappoint, my friend. It was very engaging. And I know the listeners and viewers are going to get a lot from this. So thank you so much, my friend, for joining us.
My appreciation to you guys, and thanks for having me, and let's stay in touch.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see an increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.